Planning a dive trip is always fun, but packing your dive bag, maybe not so much. That can feel a bit overwhelming, especially if it's your first time and you're headed for somewhere new. But don't worry, Utila Dive Center has your back. We've put together a simple guide to help you pack your dive bag like a pro, ensuring you have everything you need without crossing those dreaded airline weight limits. It doesn't matter if you're diving close to home or exploring exotic waters. Packing smart and having the right gear is super important.
So let's get into it. Okay, here I have all my gear laid out. So the first thing I like to do before I pack is lay everything out so I can look at it in one view and make sure I'm not missing anything. I have my Takine roller suitcase here. I've had this bag for about 12 years. I've traveled all over the world with it. It served me really well. It's got one main compartment in the base and 3 main compartments in the top so I can compartmentalize things. So let's get started. I always like to put my fins at the bottom of the bag because my fins are molded heavy duty rubber and they're gonna offer a layer of protection from the bottom of the bag, okay? I have space in the foot pockets. Why waste that space? I like to use it to tuck my masks into. Makes it a little bit more efficient. But if you have mask cases for your masks, you can always put boardies in there, rash guards, anything to help them keep their shape and just take up some of that space that would otherwise be dead space in your suitcase. I put the fins in. I like to put them opposite each other so they fit a little bit better, almost like sneakers in a box. And I pop those in the bottom, like I said, for my secure base layer. You can slide them to one end and that leaves you a little channel on one side to put more gear later, okay? Next, I like to take my regulator and package it inside of my wetsuit, like so. Now, a lot of times people talk about checking your regulator, putting it in your carry-on bag versus checking it. I don't necessarily put mine in my carry-on. I like to put it in my check bag, and I put it inside of my wetsuit like so. And then I like to roll up the wetsuit and make kind of a little burrito for my regulator and my wetsuit. That way, my wetsuit is like a padded bag for my reg. And I put that in the top compartment here. It seems to fit well for me, my wetsuit, and that way it doesn't rattle around a lot or anything like that. People are always asking me, oh, do I need to take apart my regulator before I put it in my bag? Sometimes I've heard of people doing that, disconnecting the hoses and things, so it looks a little less sketchy going through security. I've never had any trouble with my regs going through security. Sure, I've been stopped and asked what they are, but as soon as I take them out and show them to people, they always understood what it is. I think it's a pretty common sport nowadays that people know what a regulator is. So I've never had any trouble with it, but if you want to carry on your reg because you think it's sensitive, go for it. Next up, I have my BCD. So one thing you want to do is get all the air out of the wing or out of the jacket. Deflate it as much as you can so it's not taking up any unnecessary space in your luggage. Try to find a nice way to fold it together efficiently so that it fits well in the case. All about keeping things nice and tidy, just like when we're diving. This particular suitcase leaves me a little channel on one end after I put my fins, so I like to use my booties to kind of take up that space. I can also pop my SMB and reel, a sturdy piece of equipment that's not going to be damaged, into some of those corners and spaces that are left behind. And rash guards and hoodies and things like that can be good for filling in little spaces as well, different pockets of your bag. Some other things I like to always take: a small dry bag, which you can have your first aid kit or your save a dive kit. A first aid kit takes up a little bit of space, but you're gonna be happy you have it on your trip if you need it. So it's always good to bring. Boardies, again, or swimsuits, anything like that, pieces of clothing, can always fill in little gaps in your suitcase in places here and there to be efficient. Other things you want to make sure you have: when I travel, I like to bring one of my deco regs for tech diving. This way I have a first stage, a second stage, and a pressure gauge backup in case it's needed. I have been on trips where other people's regs have had problems and I'm able to give this to them with their alternate and save their dives and make their trips more enjoyable for them. Don't want to miss out on your Stream to Sea sunscreen, reef safe sunscreen from our best friends at Stream to Sea. You got to have that in your bag, as well as a few other odds and ends. We want to have torches, but remember to take the batteries out as they are lithium, so you're going to need to put those in your carry-on. Cutting tool, I like to bring a multi-tool in case we need to do any repairs or anything like that. It's helpful to have. And also, one of my favorite accessories is the Model Outdoors Infinity tool. If you haven't seen this on the market yet, I suggest you check it out. Really cool company out of the US that's more geared towards hiking and mountaineering, but they offer some really good equipment that would be super useful to divers. This allows you to pretty much attach anything to your equipment in any location. It could also serve as a backup mast strap, fin strap, a lot of possibilities for this really cool gadget here, the Model Outdoors Infinity Tool.
Well, there you have it, folks. There's a multitude of things you might need on your dive trip. But making a checklist, making sure you have everything you need before you pack your bag, and then packing it efficiently will make it go smoothly from home to your next destination. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. See you next time.